What's going on, everyone? My name is Nicholas Merton here at DataDash, and today is August 30th of 2017. So as you all know, if you watch my channel, from time to time I like to focus on specific categories of cryptocurrencies as well as certain valuation types of cryptocurrencies to really assess certain investment paths in the market. And as we can see, small caps have been quite a big topic because usually with small caps comes a higher rate of return. But to be fair, and I'm going to tell you something that a lot of investors won't tell you, a very disciplinary rule to understand is that with higher returns usually comes higher risk. So we have to keep that in mind when we're talking about small caps and really focus on doing two things: focusing on picking winners and then also diversifying into those winners rather than just picking one. So now that we've realized that, what is the main focus point of these small caps that really made them stand out to me? I've been noticing over the past month or so, privacy and also fighting censorship have become quite big topics in the cryptocurrency community. We talk about it all the time on this channel. We've covered a lot of coins that are objectively trying to do this, but I haven't really found some really nice, juicy small caps to really return good and make a good investment returns for the long run. So here are three small caps that are focused in those industries that I think could easily double or triple over the next few weeks or the next few months. Of course, you got to do your own research, but I really think these are optimistic coins. So first and foremost, I want to talk about Navcoin. I've been hearing you all talk about Navcoin in the comments down below, and no, I have not ignored you. I've been listening in, and I've been looking at Navcoin, and it looks like it could be a really good potential winner. So if we take a look at its price action real quick, we can see that I had a recent spike up, and it's not at all-time highs right now, but it did make all-time highs the other day and went from a valuation of around 15 million all the way up to 45 million, down towards 31 million right now. So we've gotten a decent pullback. It tripled in value. Now we're finally getting the pullback. You know, everything's kind of slow and steady in the sense of pulling back, and it looks like the price action is slowly flattening out. We can see here that it's at a $31 million valuation, so definitely a small cap on the lower end. And looks like a coin we could easily see double or triple if it can really get adopted. The volume is also there as well, almost 10% in volume, which I like in the coin. So if it can maintain around 3 to 4 million in volume at its valuation, that would show that there's some pretty stellar interest. And we saw a lot of volume come in the other day, around 17 million at the peak for the 24 hours. So definitely some interest coming into this coin. I think privacy coins in general. We can say the circulating supply as well is not bad. It's at 61 million. And we'll also learn how it's created. It's a proof of stake coin. But now that we have looked at the general technicals and numbers, let's go ahead and look at Navcoin's website. I want to say right off the bat, they have a beautiful website that really explains what it is. Basically, Navcoin itself was built off a lot of Bitcoin core technology. However, Bitcoin itself is not very fast at transactions. It's proof of work. And then also at the same time, it's not private. All of those Navcoin fixes. So let's just go down through here. We can look at some of the selling points. You can see faster transaction time. So whereas Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies can take upwards of 10 to 15 minutes to transfer, and sometimes longer than that if it's really backed up, we can see that there's only 30-second transaction times on average for Navcoin. Not bad. Really good selling point. That's really fast transactions in the sense of global transfers. And then we can also see earn while you sleep. You can earn up to 5% interest on your holdings in Navcoin. And it's simple proof of stake, so you just keep it in your wallet and it will generate. Pretty cool. And we can also see here as well, there's optimal private payments. Now, how exactly do they encrypt transactions to make them private? Well, before I jump into that, you can also see there's some other accolades here that really kind of just tell you about Navcoin and why it stands out. But here's the main point I want to make with the privacy. So they encrypt it by sending it to a second blockchain. Okay, so when you make a transaction to another party, it's going to go to a secondary side blockchain, and then it's going to make another encrypted transaction there and then transfer it back onto the primary blockchain to the other candidate you're trying to transfer to. So not only does it have extremely fast transfer times, it has a very interesting approach towards encrypting transfers over the blockchain using a secondary one. So very big selling point on Navcoin's tech, and I think that it's an interesting coin. However, if you want to get some more resources, learn a little bit more about it and get more in depth, they've got some awesome white paper. They have an awesome white paper and then also some other media as well that you can use to learn about Navcoin. So definitely check that one out. Not only am I optimistic on it, but I got into a position down here at 11,500 Satoshis. So down a little bit, nothing crazy. I mean, I did buy after it had a pretty decent run up, but I think that it's slowly starting to slow down on the sell off, and I think it's going to start curving up. And if it pulls back a little bit more, I might add to my position and really make this a long-term holding because I think I really like the approach of Navcoin. Second off, you know what it is. We've been talking about it on this channel for quite some time. It is Mysterium. I think Mysterium is highly undervalued right now. I really love the whole concept of the decentralized VPN market, and I think that Mysterium is going to be that candidate. I haven't seen anything like it inside of the crypto space in the sense of decentralizing something like VPNs. We can see that this has an even smaller market cap. Mysterium is sitting around $25 million in valuation with $500,000 in volume. Of course, that's kind of tethering a little bit close to the trading and investing volume limit that I have, or the least that you want to see in the sense of trading or investing for any kind of cryptocurrency. But Mysterium is one of those exceptions. Even if it steps a little bit under, I'm willing to hold it because I really like Mysterium in the long run. Mysterium, like I said, has not only been oversold since its ICO, but it's one of those projects you have to think about in the long term. They have a very limited supply, 32 million, and the circulating supply is sitting around 19.4 million. So I think that there is a lot of room for Mysterium to move in the sense of its valuation and what it's trying to achieve. So what is that exactly on a fundamental sense? If we go over here, Mysterium is aiming to be a decentralized VPN. Now, if you don't know what VPNs are, if you all are completely new to this cryptocurrency, even though I've talked about it quite a bit on my channel, VPNs are virtual private networks. It's a way that you and I can browse the web practically anonymously and be able to, go to websites and everything that we usually traditionally wouldn't be able to on things like the Tor browser, and be able to browse the web in a sense of privacy. Now, a lot of people associate VPNs with the deep web and stuff. The biggest thing about VPNs is for countries where there is absolute censorship. If you go to countries like China, Iran, whatever it may be, there are a multitude of countries that have governments that are not only very oppressive, but also very censoring on what you can see. Want a good example of it? In China, you can't go to basic social media websites. Really let that sink in, folks. Think about not being able to communicate with people. It's a pretty big problem. So Mysterium is aiming to do that with the blockchain. They're trying to decentralize it through the blockchain. And if you want to read more into this, I really recommend you go watch my video on Mysterium. I did a really good job, I think, of explaining what it's objectively trying to do and really trying to provide a visual sense as to what the Mysterium network really is. So a very big candidate in my mind, and I really want to reiterate, the price is definitely sold off, folks. I understand Bitcoin has been having quite a rally, but at the same time, and even in USD valuation, this is completely undervalued in my opinion. So, and remember, I understand there's no uptrend right now, but folks, we buy on dips. We buy when there's blood in the streets. We buy when no one is optimistic on something, so we can see the double or triple return in our investment. We don't want to buy at fresh highs like it was over here. I made tons of swings on Mysterium, and I've made a lot of money. And I really think that these levels are awesome to add in the long term. I know I'm a big fan of Mysterium in the long run, and I think that you should be too if you really see the potential of the VPN market, a multi-billion-dollar market coming towards the blockchain and becoming a lot less centralized. The third but not last coin is Zcoin. I want to talk about Zcoin because I got a recommendation from Speaker off one of my fellow admins for the channel, and I think he was absolutely on the money. This is a privacy coin that's sitting pretty much around the same valuation as we see Navcoin sitting at, around $35 million, and over our volume level of $500,000 per day. We can see that this has been definitely trending up recently. If we go here to the 7-day, the price action is showing some quite optimistic price action, and we've also seen a nice little pullback as well in the price and its Satoshi level. So, let's go ahead and look at Zcoin on a fundamental level. We can see it has a very low circulating supply, which nice selling point. However, we have to understand what makes Zcoin such a privacy-based coin, and what makes it stand out. Zcoin has a very, very interesting approach. They use zero coin protocol. Okay, now I'm going to explain what zero coin protocol is. As we scroll down here, they have a really nice website. They talk about how, there's some problems in Bitcoin in the sense of the public ledger, the network, how people can use network studies or notable studies to track people's Bitcoin transactions and be able to find out who is who. And then in that sense, your privacy is broken and you don't have the privacy of your transactions. So there's definitely a big problem here. And what they use now is a system known as minting. Okay, now this isn't minting as in like proof of stake. This is a little bit different, okay? So we're going to scroll down here. You can watch this video if you really want a visual understanding of it. Really good video to watch. But roughly speaking, how Zcoin creates its new currency is by taking the currency that you have used in a transaction, and it gives you pretty much the proof of receiving that cryptocurrency, okay, or holding that cryptocurrency. And it takes away the coin that you have right now and it transfers it into a completely new coin. It mints a new coin rather than keeping the old one. This guarantees that you do not get caught taking money that has been laundered from criminals or any other sense of organization. Plus, it builds a complete encryption. There's no transaction history with that cryptocurrency. However, they can apply it into your wallet and then the previous transaction history is completely gone. So there's the whole kind of, the whole kind of aspect of complete anonymity, encryption, and it builds a whole new cryptocurrency that has no proof or history behind it. It's completely new, but it didn't add any new to the circulation supply because of that. It just created a new one to replace the old one. So I like this concept. I can see why people are optimistic on it. And I think Zero Coin Protocol is a very interesting form of privacy. It's interesting to see how so many people have an approach to it in different ways, but I think this is one of the biggest ones, folks. Being able to create an entire coin out of nowhere, yet not adding to the supply, erasing the old one, burning it, completely getting rid of it, and, clearing out the history really could be a big selling point for this. We can see here, though, that Zcoin is actually at a relatively low valuation. So I would keep this on your radar, folks. I think that you really could see this come up to this range as we have seen it in the past because privacy is a hot topic right now. And this is a very low valued coin right now, sitting at 35 million. So keep it on your radar as well as the other candidates, but I'd like to hear what you all think in the comments below. So get a discussion going. Tell me what coins you're optimistic on. Do you think there's some small caps in the space that I missed, or maybe some small caps that are outside of the privacy and fighting censorship category that you think would be really good small cap potential candidates? Love to hear what you think in the comments down below. But until then, everyone, I will see you all in the next video. Stay tuned.